Welcome to VintageTech. You know, what do board games and DVD movies have in common? Well, they require you to sit down at a table and be motionless. But what if you combine the best of both of them to get something unique? Well, you get one of the most popular board games ever from 2000s. See it? Yeah, this is the DVD game. DVD board games were an interesting fad from the 2000s. All thanks to this little franchise. Wait, I say franchise? Well, this was so popular because DVD players were actually widely adopted in 2000s for obvious reasons. Yeah. In this video, we'll talk about Seen It, how the game is played, and maybe a few variants. Let's get started! Now, before I start talking about Seen It and how the game is played, I need to mention the company who developed the series. Screenlife. Founded in 2001 by entrepreneurs Craig Kinzer and David Long. The idea of Seen It came from Long using VHS tapes at Halloween parties, which gave Kinzer the idea of using DVDs and players as game machines.
Yeah, isn't the PlayStation 2 a DVD playing game machine?
Ahem! Standard DVD players.
Oh, right, sorry.
Screenlife developed technology called Optrieve and bet on those DVDs to make the players into random game machines. This, combined with the fact that numerous DVD players distributed worldwide, helped make Seen It popular.
And yes, you can use the PlayStation 2 to play Seen It.
The additional secret to the game's success was that Screenlife was able to get numerous licenses from different studios. I mean, major studios include Disney, Universal, Sony Pictures, DreamWorks, Warner Brothers, MGM, and Paramount. Funny thing about the last part, in 2008, Paramount purchased Screenlife, but let's not get ahead of ourselves. The incorporation of elements from Trivial Pursuit, Pictionary, and Concentration enhanced the gameplay of unique scenarios. But the real additional secret to Seen It's success was the addition of creating a physical board instead of selling a mere DVD, and the upper cross cause and to keep the game profitable. Seen It was first released in 2002 through Wizards of the Coast and Nordstorm. It was a huge hit for Screenlife. Sales went exceeding all expectations and beating the competition. To make the game more readily available, Screenlife made a deal with Mattel to release Seen It into various retail stores. Yeah, partnership with Mattel actually helped make Seen It more popular, because Mattel is one of the biggest toy companies out there. Interestingly enough though, when Screenlife made a deal with Mattel to release Seen It into various retailers, Mattel also got access to their Optrieve technology so they could use it on the Fisher-Price Interact TV. Well, for some of those TVs, mind you. But we're getting a little bit ahead of ourselves. Anyway, let's begin this, stressful episode. Let's use the original Seen It as our benchmark for this episode, as many other versions, minus a few, are basically the same game with some clips, cards, pieces, and or board being changed. I will discuss those variants later. This is 2003 release by Mattel in a standard board game box. The original release came in a square box, mostly to resemble a film reel container. I should mention that the Seen It versions distributed by Screenlife themselves also came in a square box. Opening box reveals 4 playing pieces, and another unique innovation to Seen It: the Flexime game board. The Flexime game board can be unfolded for a longer play or forward back to its original shape for a short one. When I played Seen It when I was about a kid to a teen, I forgot about that feature and assumed it was folded into a circle of safe space. In this video, I'll be using the unfold portion for the full experience. It should be noted that the Pirates of the Caribbean and early Twilight Seen Its don't use this Flexime board. Underneath board, we have the real star of the game, the DVD. More on that later. We also have 2 dice, one for movement and the other for challenges. There's also question cards for the players to ask, along 4 reference cards, which should be handed out to each of the players at the start of the game. Lastly, we have the buzz cards, which can help or hurt you. More on that later. Okay, now, this is the part where I became a little bit rambly. Now, I've tested the DVD on various players. The biggest concern for me is the option technology. Now, some players may not work. It may cause it. Fortunately, Screenlife thought I included some preset gameplays in these, but what's the point of that when the individual words of the shuffling mechanic? Now, I tested on my Xbox Series X, which will become a glorified UHD, which became a glorified UHD Blu-ray player when I uploaded this. And to my surprise, the option technology worked, but there's a limiting factor. I used this 8-bit dual media remote as tested DVD master, but the thing is, there's a blind spot on my desk, which means I cannot use it as a remote until it's pointed directly at it. So after I do that, tested good, but didn't work out yet. I also tested on that Panasonic Portable DVD player because, you know, for portability, and it still works. But the problem is reaching it. The hassle. And then I tested on my PlayStation 4. And then it was on this table from the basement. And I realized this was the perfect one to use for seeing because its width is far more convenient than that other table I use, especially when I want to use this Flexime game board to its fullest potential. And so I used this table, and I think the perfect one that fit the bill is a Sony DVD player with the slot loader. And since I need to use a remote anyway. Anyway, I believe that's all for my rambling. Okay, I actually connected this to this Sony TV appropriately enough. So, let's turn the Sony TV on, and I want to show you what opened to this original 2002 or 2003 re-release. Now, on a note, it came in a cardboard sleeve, which kind of reminds me of how a vinyl record used to be. Alright, let's head to video 1. Alright, let's turn this bad boy on. And yeah, it's 4x3. Anyway, let's put the disc in. And see what opening looks like. Oh, it has a warning screen. I should mention that some versions see it uses Disney's warning screen. You know, the one you might remember. Oh! It's a logo compilation. Oh, it's a lion. Columbia Trust Entertainment and Universal. It's missing Paramount Pictures. Oh, and there's the option technology. Bland, but effective. Alright. Here goes. Here it is. Seen It, the DVD movie game. Of course, lest I forget. Alright, now that the game is set up, it's time for the instructions. Please note, the instructions for seeing it will be worded and spoken verbatimly from the How to Play sections on the DVD in most versions, combined with stuffed animals from my friends for more comedy. Like I mentioned before, hand out each player a reference card for different challenge categories. Place the buzz cards on the board and choose your playing pieces, and place them on the start space of your board. One player operates the remote as the quote-unquote DVD master. Before you're ready to play, you can set a timer from 10 to 30 seconds to determine how long a player takes on trivia cards. Then hit play game to begin. To determine turn order at the start of the game, each player rolls a numbered die once. The highest number goes first. On your turn, roll both dice, move the number of spaces shown on a number die, then attempt to complete a challenge shown on a category die. I'll start with the card categories first. When you roll a Take 3, Songs and Slogans, or Pop Culture, select Start Timer from the DVD menu. Then, the roller gets to answer the question from the card. The cards have questions on the front and answers on the back.
That's right, Mud. Your question here is, one tagline for this film read, "Ain't afraid of no ghost."
It's Ghostbusters! Yeah, it's Ghostbusters!
And you're right!
Yay! Ha ha ha!
When you win a challenge, you roll again. When you win a challenge while on a double feature space, you move twice the number shown on the die. If you roll a buzz card, your turn is usually over. Follow the instructions on the buzz card and pass the dice to the next player.
Oh, I see what the buzz card says. Bad news. Your agent is missing and so are your bank accounts. Never trust a relative. Move back 2 spaces. And I was about on a double feature space.
The buzz cards will usually help or harm you, but they can also harm another player, or they can help you and harm your opponent. If you roll My Play, select My Play from the DVD menu and you attempt to answer challenge shown on screen.
Alright, Pirates, time to answer that. The show on screen. What is it? What was it? What was it? Patty has it. Patty wagon. Oh yes, I was right! I can take our turn!
On an all play is chosen from the DVD menu, and all players will attempt to answer the question.
Alright, time to figure out the clues of the images.
If the roller or dice shouts out the answer, they get to roll again as usual.
I'd say Full Metal Jacket! Yippee!
If another player gets the
Full
answer
Metal
correct first,
Jacket!
then the roller's turn is over,
Oh, it looks like
and it has to
Buzz
hand it over
died.
to the next player.
What are you gonna do?
But before that, the player who answered the challenge correctly has chosen to give another player a buzz card.
I'm gonna give Bob Oxy a buzz card. Huh! Looks like you gave me the lead! Oh, ahead. Oh.
Damn it.
Or move forward 1 space. If more than one player answers the challenge correctly at the same time, a tiebreaker is used to determine the winner. The DVD remotes use to pause, fast forward, or skip a portion of the challenge. Thanks to the Optrieve technology, the DVD will shuffle itself whenever you start a new game, so you won't be seeing the same all-play challenge repeated. On a roll of player's choice, the player can choose any of the card categories or a DVD My Play challenge. And he could also pick a buzz card, for whatever reason. To win Scene It, reach the Stop All Play to Win space and select All Play to Win for one last challenge. If they win a challenge, they win the game. If you don't, you move to the outer ring of Final Cut and pass the dice to the next player. The player outside that wins the challenge, they have the option of giving another player a buzz card or move forward 3 spaces. However, you cannot give buzz cards to players in Final Cut. In Final Cut, players choose Final Cut in the DVD menu and fulfill on-screen life instructions. If they get all the questions correctly, they win the game. If they miss a challenge, they move 1 lane closer to the center, unless they are in the center. And that's how the game is played.
And you can tell just how popular home DVD players were, because this was a cash cow. By cash cow, I meant it was popular. So, what did Screenlife do after the success of this board game?
See, its popularity led Screenlife to make more DVD games that use their Optrieve technology, like their DVD Bingo Trilogy, Quip, and Bonsai. That last one is based off of a British games show. In addition, they also did DVD games that don't feature that technology, at least not mentioned, like the Ice Age DVD game, Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, and their DVD Blast Trilogy. And South Park DVD game. Those are good or bad on their own, but Seen It is a pièce de résistance and breakthrough hit. Because of it, there are at least 50 editions of that game.
Yeah! Seen It had multiple versions, released from 2002 to 2011. And most of them are themed versions. Well, some can have some unique experiences. In this video, I'll be talking about 5 unique variants of CNET.
Before we get into the variants, Screenlife also did expansions for CNET. I'd say expansions, but they are more of game packs, as they can work on any CNET Flexime game board. Maybe include the DVD, trivia cards, and the category die. This was a good trade-off for those who don't want to get a new game board. I should point out that second and or deluxe edition CNET games also include content from these game packs, making these a bit redundant. But it's worth checking out. You can also play most of these as standalone. The sequel pack, however, is the only true expansion. It only contains a DVD and an additional 100 trivia cards.
Now, I want to show you guys a new old stock sequel pack. Yes, I got this new old stock. It's still in its cellophane of shrink wrap. And I want to see what happens like opening up a pack like this back in the day. Alright, here we go. And we have additional trivia cards. And a sequel pack DVD. That's what all these sequel packs contains. Yeah. I need to talk about how unique this sequel pack box is. It's in a long box, which almost looks like a 3DO game box. Remember that? It's open like this, instead of like a traditional key case. Which, funnily enough, those game packs do came in those. Also, this may be odd, but I noticed that these cards have more sharp edges compared to the more rounded edges of the one I showed earlier. Now, one thing I definitely need to bring up is that there's actually an option for a more inflated version. How does that work? Well, you do roll both dice as usual. But how this inflated version works is that you still roll both dice as normal, the numbered and category die. But in addition, you only move the number if you win the category shown on the category die. Needless to say, this does cause the game to go a bit bonkers. This is a really good idea. Now, try doing that with the Flexime game board, fold it into a circle for shorter play. Anyway, time to start with variants, starting with a more simple one aimed at a younger audience.
Here's is Junior CNET, a version made for the younger audience as it features kids movies like Ice Age and other things kids may be interested in. However, the one I want to show you is not this one, but rather this one, the Travel Edition or CNET to Go. I want to work the same way, with the only difference being a name and or DVD class. Regardless of the name, there are changes to accommodate it made for travel. The Flexime board is made of metal or iron, and doubles as the DVD case. Blank pieces aren't magnetic, and there is no dice or cards. Well, all those features are in the DVD, making for a more convenient and simplified experience. Plus, it's helpful when you're in the car or using Pro D Player, especially add-ons with the built-in remotes, as you don't want to accidentally knock over the cards or pieces. There are new changes to these versions. If player's choice is rolled on the DVD, only My Play or All Play can be selected. In addition, due to the simple experience, if a player other than Roll gets an All Play challenge correctly, they moved one space. Overall, these versions of CNET are a good alternative, especially if you don't want to where it loses some important components. Oh, and one thing I definitely need to mention is that if you roll in My Play or All Play, it's selected automatically. Pre-selected, mind you. So you don't need to worry about accidentally picking the wrong one.
I actually like this idea of a travel edition by having the important components in the case itself and also double as the board. Now, unfortunately, you cannot make it into a shorter game because of this design. But still, this was a unique idea. Oh, and one more thing you need to bring up. The Screenlife Presents logo shown here looks similar to their Screenlife Games logo used in their CNET video games. More on that later. Now, that's not the only kids variant I want to show you. As the next one I want to talk about is one I actually kind of remember as a kid.
CNET, another kids-focused CNET. This one is very unique. The instructions are hosted by SpongeBob and Gary. Therefore, Tom Kenny voices the instructions. But rather than the usual CNET instructions, it's presented in a more interesting way.
The number die, that's the little square thing. No, I don't mean myself, Gary. To determine who goes first. Start your turn by rolling both dice and then moving the number of spaces shown on the number.
It adds some humor to it. Now take a look at the Flexime game board. It features various Nickelodeon characters from Nicktoons and the live-action ones. Now, various other Flexime game boards add some personality to them by making the squares and the characters or the movies themselves. The playing pieces are made of plastics ML, adding more color to them. Since this is Nick themed, there are going to be slime-related stuff, and you'd be right.
Well, one thing I do want to show you is that most CNETs often include a party play option, if you want to play it without the Flexime game board or cards. It'll really defeats the purpose of the game board. It does actually help make the game more fun. I mean, let's take a look at it. Let's see what character it is. Is that Appa? Appa! Voiced by D. Bradley Baker, also known as the Clones. Yes! He's eating hay! Really? Nope. Yeah, this is how fun it is. Don't see the character. Who is it? Spellbinders. SK. Skulker! I thought I said Skinner for a second. If you want, you can actually go back to the main menu anytime. Oh, and another thing I do want to show you is that some CNETs often include oh, and yes, I'm using my Xbox for this one because I realized I could just, if I move it a bit closer, it can make it easier. We go to All Play to Win. You don't need to go to Final Cut. I believe that's it early. You can see it does. Alright, let's see how we name characters. Neutron! Because, you know. Quack! The Adventures of Neutron were genius. Yeah. And off topic here, but Hugh's voice actor, Mark DiCarlo, actually appeared in Sale of the Century. Just a little known fact. Anyway. Yeah! Unlike the original scene, you don't need to go to Final Cut 1 and wait until you actually get it right. And they automatically go back to the main menu! Something that has been odd to me, but I noticed that the Mattel version of CNET, release of CNET, came in with a smaller Flexime game board. It's a bit smaller. But then again, the Screenlife versions of CNET do came in a bigger box, so I'm not surprised. Unless if that was the original box size. But in the future, if I want to buy it, I can see why. Additional factoid, SpongeBob SquarePants and Gary this won't be the last time SpongeBob and Gary hosted a Screenlife game, as they also hosted Nickelodeon DVD Bingo, which not only features Nickelodeon characters, but also Nick Jr. characters. And those are Dora the Explorer, Lazy Town, Blue's Clues, and the Backyardigans. So that's 4 Nick Jr. shows, or 5 if you count the Dora the Explorer spin-off Go Diego Go. Yeah, Screenlife was a very interesting company. While Nickelodeon had only once seen it, a certain mouse had more than that.
This is Seen It Disney 2nd Edition, an edition of Seen It that includes content from the Seen It Disney Game Pack. One cute little detail for this edition is that the buzz cards are literally Buzz Lightyear, because get it? Buzz is going to buzz you with your laser. Unlike other Seen It's, however, the cards do not come in a separate container box. Instead, they're all stacked together. And also, the questions and answers are on the same side of the card, which I believe makes sense since you can't cheat your way. Now, the Disney versions come in separate kids and adult cards. Let's see, I believe this is, well, pink is an adult and green is for kids. Yeah, ironically, consider that the demographic scene, it is primarily teens and young adults. So I'm surprised they actually put separate category cards for them. One thing I definitely need to bring up is that sometimes Seen It will also come in these really cool tin cases. And they also feature these lenticular 3D cases. Now, you can't see on camera, but in person they look really interesting. Then again, although this tin case has seen better days, of course. Oh, and one more thing. Some versions of Seen It that I do want to bring up is that Player's Choice can actually also let you pick all of them instead of the card categories, My Play, or the Buzz for some reason. Well, to be fair, the Player's Choice is also present that lets you pick All Play and My Play in the travel editions, like the Junior one you saw earlier. But to be fair, there's no all the card. The card categories are actually integrated in DVD itself, so it makes more sense for that than for this. Also, this version doesn't come with the category reference card, so you have to keep this in handy.
Now, of all the companies represented Seen It, Disney's one that has a lot. I mean, there's like at least 7 different versions, or 8 if you count the Pirates of the Caribbean Seen It. I mean, that's no surprise, considering that Disney actually invested a lot into the DVD board gaming scene. Now, the addition of Seen It, there's also the Mattel DVD game line, which most of them are from Disney, by the way. And there's also Disney Pictionary, which, funnily enough, Mattel acquired Pictionary at least a few years before that came out. And there's also Disney DVD Bingo part, Screenlife DVD Bingo games. And then another Screenlife one is the Disney Princess DVD game that uses a remote. That was also distributed by Mattel, mind you. Now, in addition to being played with individuals, you can also play Seen It in teams of usually 2 or 4. This actually presents a little more strategy to it, as you need to discuss the answer to see which is correct and which isn't. One of them did emphasize on that, but it's aimed at more adults, and it's a boys versus girls situation.
Seen It Squabble is basically battles of sexes with movies and TV shows. This one focuses more on the team aspect. It's boys versus girls. There are 160 cards, 80 for each gender. Also, unlike previous Seen It's, this one uses 3 dice. There's usual numbered and challenge die, but also a male/female die, determining if the question can be male or female related. That die also has a yin-yang symbol on it, to represent the opposite sex. So if the male team rolls the yin-yang, they get to answer a female question, and vice versa. The same also applies if you're on this version's Final Cut, which is Honeydew. Finally, the buzz cards, referred to as bicker cards, will have different effects depending on the gender.
One thing I really need to bring up is that I actually got this new old stock, and this slot in there that has a DVD actually kind of puzzled me. I got confused. Getting this new old stock made me realize It's the slot for your reference cards! Huh. It's no wonder why many used for copies of Seen It kept them in the same, place as the question cards. Yeah, Seen It Squabble was literally Battle of the Sexes, but with movies instead. However, take a look at the commercial. It's comedy gold.
We win, you shave your legs.
We win, you wash the car. In your bathing suits.
It's Seen It Squabble, the DVD board game that battles women against men.
In The Fugitive, who does Harrison Ford play?
Kimball! Dr. Richard Kimball!
Yeah.
Test your knowledge with movie clips, puzzlers, and questions.
What are the 4 C's of diamond shopping?
Cost, commitment, credit.
Seen It Squabble. Have you seen it?
Yeah, remember commercials used to be hilarious? The only time it get hilarious is probably the Super Bowl ones. Now we're done with some more hilarity, let's go to something more classical.
The last scene I'll talk about is the Turner Classics Movies one. This one's instructions and/or game are hosted by the late Robert Osborne.
The first DVD game to include scenes from the greatest films in the Turner Classic Movies library, from The Wizard of Oz to Casablanca to 2001: A Space Odyssey.
As the title suggests, this one features classic movies under the TCM banner, including The Wizard of Oz, Casablanca, and 2001: A Space Odyssey. Now, this one has an interesting Flexime board. It looks bland at first, but given the theme of classic movies, it makes sense. Now, the trivia and reference cards are unusually taller. I mean, wow! At the very least, they made the reference cards bigger to not fit with the rest of the trivia cards. The buzz cards are still there, as the biz. Well, the cards are unusual. Take out the us and buzz and replace it with an I. However, one thing I need to mention is that this is one of the few Seen It's, if not the only one, to not have a board game version distributed by Mattel, as they only distributed the game pack version.
Well, those are all the scenes I want to discuss. So, what happened to Seen It now?
In 2008, Paramount Pictures, at the time subsidiary of the second formation of Viacom, purchased Screenlife, meaning all original properties and creation of Screenlife are now owned by Paramount, including, of course, Seen It.
Yeah, Nickelodeon's sister company now owns Seen It. Yeah, first years of acquisition, things are going okay. But then, after that, that's when Seen It starts to lose its scene. No pun intended.
Paramount's ownership of Seen It is best exemplified with the 2010/2011 Seen It's. They made some changes to the game, like the buzz cards are more standard play cards than be circular, for cheapness. Then again, the Simpsons Seen It also did that. And the My Play now is a follow-up all-play question, which defeats the purpose of it being My Play. They did add one more side to the 8-side die though, which is the My Puzzle option. It allows for the roller of the dice to do a puzzle on the TV screen. In 2012, Paramount closed Screenlife, marking an end to Seen It for a decade, meaning that 2 playing versions of the game, Seen It Movie Night, the DVD board game, and Seen It Star Wars were canceled. 10 years later, in 2022, Paramount, in cooperation with Imagination Games, revived Seen It, but instead of being a DVD board game, it was a streaming board game, meaning that instead of a DVD of obscure technology, it uses a mobile app, and reviews for this app are interesting, to say the least.
If you want to give the 2022 Seen It credit, though, so you don't need to worry about having a scratched disc. But let's find out. The screen is so small. It's best designed for tablets or the like. Now with the Star Wars version of Seen It becoming canceled, I would have been so depressed. Now granted, I didn't become a Star Wars fan until 4 years after Seen It's continuation, but still fairly sad. I mean, maybe if Paramount were to team with Disney to release a Star Wars Seen It video game that allows you to play with an actual game board. And speaking of which,
Before we end this very stressful episode, I need to mention that Seen It had a few console video games. Yeah, don't forget that, Screenlife themselves were involved in them. There are like 5 See It video games, but the most notable ones are the first 2 Xbox 360 titles published by Microsoft. Lights Camera Action, co-developed by WXP Games, and Box Office Smash, co-developed by Chrome of Ty the Tasmanian Tiger fame. What makes it so cool is that they use these big bun controllers for buzzing in the answers, like PlayStation's own Buzz series. You put a receiver into one of the Xbox 360's USB ports, and you put a sensor on top of your TV, much like how Nintendo did with the recently released and successful Wii. There are 4 of these big bun controllers, which the big bun sells in green, red, blue, and yellow, which are the colors on the Xbox 360 controller's buttons. The other games include Bright Lights, Big Screen for 7th Gen consoles, See It Twilight for Nintendo systems, and See It Movie Night for Xbox Live Arcade. Interestingly enough though, the Xbox 360 version of Bright Lights Big Screen is compatible with those big bun controllers. In addition, there are oversimplified versions of See It available in General Mills cereal boxes or Wendy's Kids Meals. They only feature all play, and the person who gets the answer correct first moves for a number of spaces shown on the die. They were meant to be ads for the full-size See It. Nothing too fancy here. Interestingly enough though, the bouncy die animation seen in General Mills See It tutorials is the same one used in the Screenlife logo for their DVD games from 2005 to 2009.
Well, I believe that's it for what I'm going to talk about. Now, originally this was going to be the 30th episode of VintageTech, with me trying to still plan to do Leap episode. But because I got so much done so little time, this made me want to think. I put up a poll on YouTube to see what people will think. And after checking it, the day after, I realized the See It was a better opportunity. So I changed one of the thumbnails, one you might have seen in the update video, by replacing episode 30 with episode 25, and call it a day. Now, you'll still see the multi-thumbnails for the first 14 days of this episode's publication. I mean, let me show you how much what I got done. I did the originals, discussing original See It, the See It Junior, and See It Nick all on the same day. With only on the unboxing of the second edition, the sequel pack and the dice rolls and the opening board game first. But only for testing purposes. And wow. While getting stuff up in advance is quite common, I didn't realize how so much work will be done. Now I need to take a break from doing this. But thankfully next episode will come shortly because I got all the masters done in advance. And like this episode, it's supposed to be for a future episode until I realized getting everything done. Next episode, we're going to be talking about portable DVD players, which is fun fact. The first episode for season 2 that was actually worked on. Anyway, don't forget to like and subscribe, see the little bell to know about Lizzo. I'll see you later.